So what I do first is policies related to storage and networking. So this is my second step. So we go into the LAN configuration section. And here we have a limited number of policies. Actually, there are two important policies, and that is the QoS policy and the network control policy. So for the network control policy, I'm just going to create one that says CDP enabled, because I want to enable CDP going down towards my blade. So this is not going to enable or disable CDP on the Fabric interconnect. Now this is going to enable traffic or CDP packets going all the way from my Fabric interconnect down to the blades. So that's what I said. If I want to see CDP neighbors in VMware, that's where I need to enable CDP. That's right here. So in CDP, what you will see is the Fabric interconnect. So enabling CDP down my blades. Done that. Next up, QoS policies. There are two things that I can do here. First of all, I can place traffic into a certain queue. That means that all the traffic coming in over the VNIC, so over that virtual Ethernet interface, all that traffic is going to be put into a specific queue. And some people say that you have to put HBAs into the fiber channel queue. That's not true. So VHBAs are automatically going to be placed in the FC queue based on their ether type and because they are VHBAs. So the system will detect that the traffic coming in is marked with CAST3, and CAST3 is always going to be put into the FC queue. So no need to put QoS policies on VHBAs. That's going to go fine always. The next thing that I can do is traffic shaping. So if you are told to do traffic shaping, I can specify here in kilobits per second how much traffic do I allow to a certain VNIC. Question, is it mandatory for Ethernet NICs to create a QoS policy? No, it isn't. Just watch the questioning. So if I do not specify a QoS policy, it's going to end up in the best effort queue. So no marking means best effort queue. And no QoS policy on a VHBA is going to mean it ends up in the FC queue. But of course, read the questions. Does this traffic need to be treated differently? For example, do I want to trust 802.1p bits from the server? That's what I enable here with that host control keyword right here. Do I need to traffic shape this vEthernet traffic to a certain rate? That's also something that I specify here. Or do I just, if I know for sure that a particular VNIC is going to run management traffic, for example, I'm always going to put that traffic into a certain QoS class. So it's not mandatory, just pay attention to the questioning. So I'm going to say I'm going to trust the 802.1p bits coming in from the VNIC. That's that host control here. Cool. So those are my LAN policies that I want to specify. Next, SAN policies. Now the only thing that I can specify here for SAN in terms of policies is a thing called an adapter policy. And an adapter policy is nothing else than just a few best practices in terms of buffer sizes, timeout values, and all kinds of things based on certain operating systems. There's a small chance that you will see this. I would say that this is not a tested topic because you never change this in production as well. You never tune this. So Question, can we do more complex QoS policies? For example, matching a particular COS queue, for example. Definitely. With this, so the only thing that is fixed are the names of the queues. So these names, that gold, platinum, and silver name is a fixed name. I cannot change that. So I'm going to call this the gold queue. When I go into my global QoS configuration here, that QoS system class configuration, here I can enable the gold queue and I can specify which COS value is matched with this. So here I specify the COS to queue mapping. That's what I do in a global QoS configuration. And of course, again, something to pay attention to in the questioning. If they tell you to put some traffic into the gold queue, then it also means that you need to enable the gold queue. Because if it's not enabled, it's never going to do something. Question, I'll assume you show how these QoS settings map to the Nexus 5K. Confused by the QoS, queuing, and network QoS settings. That's something that I did not touch, that's true. I'm gonna need to come back to that. The fun part is, if you know how to configure this, you can copy and paste the CLI between this Fabric Interconnect and the Nexus 5K. Because the CLI this generates, you can copy and paste that one-to-one on the Nexus 5K. Because they are totally the same, right, in terms of QoS processing. But let me come back to that once our server is running. When our UCS is done, I will come back to how we configure, how we do QoS on the Nexus 5K. Question, is in the 5K platform, is it a platform-wide QoS policy or is it per port? No, it is always platform-wide. The only thing that is per port is the marking of traffic. So I can set certain QoS settings, so certain COS values on a per port level. All the things that I do with queuing and MTU sizes, for example, is always system-wide. Same accounts, by the way, for the Nexus 7K. That's also a system-wide queuing policy. The only thing that you do there per port is the MTU size, that's the only difference, and the marking of traffic. But let me touch on Nexus 5K QoS in just a bit, after we finish our server configuration. So as I said, when the question is telling you to put traffic into the gold queue, also make sure that you enable the gold queue. If an earlier question stated that you needed to enable jumbo frames, be sure to type in that jumbo frame size here as well. Otherwise, it will not work in the rest of your network. All right. So, next up. So for SAN, there's not much to configure in terms of policies. So we